Today, you will clearly take a different look at your life because we want to show you the harsh videos from North Korea. You will be able to look at the unbearable conditions people are in and how desperately they're trying to escape from there. And you will realize that your problems are not as important as you think. Let's go! TikTok is blocked in North Korea, but the government has its own special account where they post videos where people show how happy the people of their country are. This is done for propaganda purposes, and a foreigner who does not know about it can really believe them. Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, is the richest city in the country. However, many people live far below the poverty line here. Just look at these pictures. We can see the conditions in which this girl and her child live. The worst thing is that they cannot work properly because if they are noticed in the city, there is a huge risk that they will be sent to a labor camp. A mother and daughter are trying to cross the lake on an ice floe to escape the country to China, and they are being chased by North Korean soldiers. I would like to hope that they manage to get to a safe place. This is a video from the interrogation of a woman who unsuccessfully tried to escape to China. Unfortunately, we can't show the full version, but judging by her condition, she's gone through real hell. These shots made on a hidden camera are really amazing. Child labor is often exploited in Korea. Just look at how soldiers force very young boys to work on the railroad or carry heavy bags. Usually such a shift lasts all 10 hours and they do not receive payment for the work. The training of the Korean army is shown here. Surprisingly, the hatred of American soldiers is so strong that they use their cardboard images on the shooting range. As for the North Korean army, they like to shoot videos where they demonstrate their strength and endurance by performing extremely harsh exercises. As a rule, such demonstrations take place in front of Kim Jong-un, who remains satisfied with his soldiers. Do you know that the center of Pyongyang is lined with large and comfortable buildings? In fact, only a few live in them, and this is what the ordinary life of a metropolitan resident really looks like.
What a twist! Haven't you expected to see this either, have you?
This is how the morning looks in the center of Pyongyang. Surprisingly, the streets are almost empty, from which we can conclude that these large apartment buildings are just decorations. In some of them, windows are not even there. This footage shows a video from a prison camp. Soldiers can be seen loading bags of food, and a hungry child is sitting by the roadside. The fact is that he is one of the prisoners who have to work all year in order to supply food for the local elite. The women's army is also having a hard time. The fact is that teenage girls are forced to do hard physical labor all day long by placing them in special camps. Girls work hard every day, even without days off or breaks. This is a clear example of how tourists are deceived in North Korea in order to maintain a positive image. Just look at this traffic controller girl who is just standing by the road. But as soon as she notices the operator, she starts using a whistle and waving the flag, creating only the illusion of activity. It is an amazing fact, but North and South Korea have never officially stopped the war. The two governments only signed a ceasefire act in 1953, but are still at war. When the previous leader of the DPRK, Kim Jong-il, died, the whole country was in mourning, and people literally cried at his funeral. However, as it turned out later, they were literally ordered to do so. Even if today there is a video where a person smiles on this day, he faces prison or even the death penalty. The story of Soldier Chong is truly impressive. In these shots, we see him rushing in an SUV to the South Korean border, and after his car ended up in a ditch, the North Korean military fired about 40 shots in his direction. Chong was hit by 5 bullets, but even after that, he had the strength to cross the border. But what is more frightening is that he says he understands his former colleagues, and in their place, he would do the same. It is worth mentioning the way Kim Jong-un travels. Almost every president has a bulletproof car, but here we're talking about the whole bulletproof train. This is a real fortress on rails, which is practically not vulnerable to any attack. Moreover, the train is even equipped with a helicopter that is ready to fly at any moment. Inside the train, everything suggests that its owner simply loves comfort and luxury. The propaganda of North Korea's weapons power has always been on a special account, but this video has gone viral around the world. Kim Jong-un is riding in slow motion against the background of his new rocket, which should strike fear into the whole world around him. Anti-American propaganda is working at the highest level in the DPRK. Every time, people from the government find footage of the homeless or the aftermath of a hurricane in the USA and show them on their own television, saying that this is a typical American lifestyle and that their country is best in the world. The cult of personality of the country's leader is of great importance. North Koreans should bow and admire the large statue of the leader and his father every time. You won't see a lot of cars on the streets of the DPRK. All this is because only the military and people from the government want to have cars, while the rest of the people have to travel on bicycles. Local residents also have mandatory work trips. These days, they go to the fields for 70 days and work there 7 days a week. But on the birthday of the country's leader, the government shows how nuclear missiles attack the USA.
To be honest, I'm speechless after witnessing it. What about you?
Foreign tourists in the DPRK are always restricted in their movements and are closely monitored by special people from the government. But the dream job for a woman here is to work as a traffic controller. There is a system of 3 generations of punishment in the country. If a person commits a crime, then not only is he sent to the prison camp, but also his parents and grandparents. By the way, the sale of alcoholic beverages in the markets is prohibited, but sellers still secretly do it. Of course, the quality of these drinks raises huge doubts. Military service for men has always been mandatory, and women could join the army at will, but recently there have been amendments that also obliged all women to serve until the age of 23. In order to work propaganda, North Korea has created its own internet. You will never find critical articles there, but only articles about the superiority of their country over others, as well as only complimentary articles dedicated to Kim Jong-un. This is what an advertisement for a local water park looks like, which, according to the government's plan, should establish tourist flow into the country. Just look at these sincere human emotions. Despite the fact that the family of Kim Jong-un is the most popular in Korea, little is known about the real personal life of the country's leader. Winter in Korea is quite harsh, but unfortunately, not everyone has enough warm clothes. But despite all the unbearable living conditions, people try to enjoy ordinary things. Just imagine how much effort the children spent that the orchestra played so professionally. The gym in North Korea is not for everyone. Only chosen people can afford to stay fit.
If you haven't liked this episode yet, now is the best time to do it.
If you're a tourist, you should keep in mind that every hotel room in North Korea is under video surveillance. A few years ago, an American tourist, Otto Var, decided to take a propaganda poster from the hotel as a souvenir, but was immediately arrested by the local police.